All right, YouTube. This Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. It's Sunday the 14th, and I got a different type of message. This is what you would call a human interest story. So bear with me while I talk to y'all. Okay, listen. Maybe some months ago, I injured my leg. When I injured my leg, I soon after lost my job. So after I lost my job, I applied for benefits. I was denied unemployment, even though I worked and paid into unemployment. I was denied. So I went through all the money that I had been saved and accumulated until I exhausted that, still applying for benefits. And you know how Biden says there's jobs everywhere. Like I've told you before, that's a lie. Because for some reason, when I go to get jobs or go to a temp agency, they have none. So, of course, I fell behind on bills, right? That's what happens. You fall behind on bills. Then after that, the starter went out in my truck. Didn't have any money to get the starter fixed because I couldn't even pay the bills. So when you fall behind, of course, they started sending you notices that you're behind. Let me show you what they sent me this Friday. Check this out. Okay. So and then last week they gave me a notice to vacate. You know what I mean? Being evicted, right? So I thought at least, well, I could sleep in my truck until something changed for me. That fell through. Now, the reason I'm telling you this, not because I want any sympathy or people to feel sorry for me. I'm telling you this because this was going on in our country and it can happen to anybody. So I was talking to my cousin and I told my cousin, you know what? I'm going to blog about it. My cousin said, you going to blog about it? I was like, yeah, I'm going to tell what happened and what's going on. It might can help somebody, and I'm sure it's other people going through it. She was like, that's brave. And I never looked at it. I was like, brave. Why is it brave? And we began to talk, and I found out why she said it was brave. Because most people are ashamed when things happen to them. They embarrassed. You know what I mean? Because they care so much about what other people think that they will go through things and suffer in silence. Because that's how much they value other people's opinion of them. But I noticed in my life what I've learned, because I didn't even expect to get this old, to get to be almost 60 and to be going through this. Never seen it coming. And because I didn't even expect to get this old, I didn't even think about a retirement plan. You know what I mean? So in this story, you're going to see people say, well, don't you have family? I have relatives. I don't have any family. I have associates. I don't have any friends. And I'm going to explain to you why. I have relatives that'll take a pit bull off the street and let the pit bull sleep in their house while their other relatives live homeless on the street. That's why you call them relatives. They'll love everybody in the church, hate their neighbors, and keep up with the Joneses because it's all about show. That's the kind of family I come from. It's all about what people think about them. That's why I have always been the black sheep. I would never go to them and ask them for assistance because you know why? The only thing they would do is tell me they couldn't help me and then get on the phone and tell everybody else how messed up my situation is. You know what I mean? And some people that I cared about found out what I was going through. They jumped ship, abandoned ship, like rats leaving a sinking ship because I had nothing left to offer them. But that's okay. It was some I would call just for a listening ear. They didn't want to talk because they thought I was going to ask them for something. I wasn't going to ask them for anything. I just wanted them to hear what I was going through and to see if they had an encouraging word or, you know what I mean? Or just be a sounding board while I figured things out. But that's life. Because in this life, you have to realize no one owes you anything. That's one thing I learned getting older. And the people you expect to love you oftentimes are the ones who aren't capable or willing to love you if you're looking for that. So we get in our feelings because we feel ways toward people. You know what I mean? And when we feel like we love them or we care about them, we get angry or emotional because it's not reciprocated. But that's okay too, because this is your individual life. This is my life. So I decided to blog about it. You know what I mean? I'm going to take you through every step that I've been going through. I'm going to show you how I called for jobs and went to look for jobs. There was none. Maybe they didn't want to hire me because I'm an older guy. I don't know. I went to unemployment that I've been paying into and couldn't even get qualified for that. All the time when I'm doing this, days are ticking, days are ticking before I have to vacate the home that I've been living in for years. Now, again, this is not for you to feel sorry for me because most of my life I've been a hard dude. You know what I mean? You know, and I don't worry about the trolls because they have never walked in my shoes. If the average person tried to walk in my shoes and go through the things that I've been through, they'd take themselves out. And how I look at it is like when you see an innocent child in the city of Detroit get shot by a stray and you feel so sad, you be like, that child was innocent. Why did that happen to that child? Or when I used to drive through the city and I would see homeless people, I would be like, how did that happen? You know what I mean? You know, they don't have anybody that care about them. What did they do wrong? And that's why people remain silent because they don't want to be judged. But in reality, what do you care about being judged or talked about by people who don't give a damn about you one way or the other? That's a prison. To be so controlled and influenced by what other people think about you that don't care about you no way. It's some people that I wouldn't even discuss what I was going through with because I know deep inside they will feel happy and justified because they say he deserved it. You know what I mean? He arrogant. He always talking and running his mouth. That's why they don't like me. Most of my family don't like me or relatives because I talk about truth and what's real. See, this is a real blog right here. This ain't no fancy uh put on a show and talk about other people. I'm talking about me. And the reason what made me blog about it and talk about it is every week I get on my podcast, I talk about politics, I talk about what's going on in the world, and sometimes I talk about people. But this is what's really going on in my life. You know what I mean? This is what's really going on in my life. But I can't judge anyone. I'm not even mad or upset about the people that jumped ship and abandoned me when I had nothing left to offer. Because that was a lesson. That was a lesson about me. You know what I mean? And I heard Malcolm X say something one time. He said that the reason he was able to change from who he used to be as a criminal and a drug abuser was because he found the origin of his problem. And when I heard him say that, I realized I had the same problem, which is suffering from childhood trauma and low self esteem. Low self esteem, we don't really understand what it is. Low self esteem is that person that everything he does is to be accepted and respected by other people when they don't really respect themselves. You know what I mean? What would make a person commit a crime, commit fraud, to buy clothes, to post on Instagram so that other people can give them likes and views? That's a low self esteem. And it reminds me, my story reminds me of Eminem in the movie 8 Mile. He won the rap battle because he knew that his opponent was going to talk about him and slander him. So he talked about himself first. So when somebody else tried to talk about him and slander him, they just looked petty and stupid because he already said that about himself. He already knows what he's going through and talked about it. Why you talking about it? You know, I know it's a few people that rotate around my life like a satellite that know my situation and they reveling in it. They can't wait. They can't wait for them to set my things out on the curb and you know to see me struggle so that they could feel good about why we don't get along and why I don't seek their acceptance. See, right now, I'm taking their power. I don't seek your acceptance at all. I don't even care what you say because I'm telling the world, I'm telling everybody what I'm going through. So when you tell it, you're going to look foolish because they're going to be like, you late. He blogged about it. He told everybody. So why are you telling somebody? Don't talk about a person that you're not going to help. You just come off looking petty. For real. You're going to talk about somebody that you know, but you unwilling to help. You petty. But the strangest part is when people that you usually have been talking to and they didn't know what you were going through and you start telling them, oh, look, this is what I've been going through, you know, they change on you because they think you're going to ask them for something. So they shut down communication. They never even realized I wasn't finna ask you for nothing. I know you don't got nothing. We the working poor out here. Everybody trying to keep up with the Joneses. Not finna ask you for nothing because you don't have anything. You may have more material things than me, but you lack character and integrity. So who has what and who has what? That's what it all boils down to. That's why we don't have no unity. As a people, we don't have no unity Because if a person get $5 more than you, then you the broke one. He only got $5 more than you, and they call you broke. In Detroit, a lot of these people, they get a little money, they start calling other people dusty. He dusty, he broke, he dusty. No matter how clean your skin look, no matter how clean your clothes is, because they got more than you dusty. This is a sickness. So I'm telling my story this Sunday because I don't care what other people think. I ain't gonna ask them for nothing. I'm strong. You know what I mean? My grandmother taught me, I had a wise grandma. My grandmother said, she said, whenever you fall on hard times, she said, keep a haircut and stay groomed and put on your best shoes. Now I just be like, Grandma, what that mean? If I'm broke and I ain't got no money, what I need a haircut in my best shoes for? Because people, I realized it as I got older, people want to take your dignity. They don't want you to have dignity. They want you to be ashamed and embarrassed about your condition. Why is that? Why is that? It's like going to the dentist and the dentist is drilling into your tooth trying to put a filling in, but hasn't given you enough Novocaine. So you feel the drill, but you still don't tell them, look, give me another shot until you just can't take the pain no more. Because we've been programmed and trained to suffer in silence because of public opinion. Everybody wants somebody to think that they're something else that they're not. Really, they're weak, scared, and hollow individuals. So I understand what my cousin said. That's brave, you know. And my cousin was sad because, like, she not in a position to help, and I understand it. And this is my journey, and this is my path to take. You know what I mean? And I don't mind doing it alone. My head wasn't even real clear until the false friends and the chaotic individuals that were surrounding me abandoned me when I had nothing less to offer. At first, I was, a little disappointed, but after a while, my thoughts got clear. I started seeing things clear, which made me take a new course. So, what I intend to do, I'm going to get back to my regular podcast tomorrow, which is Monday. But every day, on these last couple of days before they set my stuff out, I'm going to go to all the offices, social service, welfare office, unemployment, temp agencies, and I'm going to show you that there is no real help for us in America. Nobody's going to help us. Nobody's going to save us. We have to save ourselves. We have to rely on God and have faith in ourselves because most people around you will betray you as soon as you have nothing left to offer. But that shouldn't change how you feel. It shouldn't undermine your spiritual development because you got to face it anyway. You got to face it. You got to bear it anyway. And it's better to face it and bear it, knowing you alone, because then you can't be betrayed. A lot of people fear betrayal. I don't want to be betrayed. But the only person who can betray you is somebody you think is a friend or you assume love you. And that's okay too. That's okay. Because I told you, when I was talking to one person And I was telling them what I was going through. And they was like, you can't stay with family? And I had to explain to them, I don't have family. I have relatives. And the type of relatives that I have will, like I said, take a pet bull off the street if they can make some money off of it or keep it as a pet and bring that in the house and leave the other relatives in the street. I don't come from what you may call no loving environment. You know what I mean? I had to work and build myself up to the point to where I was capable of articulating myself and responding in a manner that didn't come off angry. I did that when I went to college. I learned philosophy and I learned how to think and reason versus reacting and responding. So that's part of why I'm talking to you guys. I'm talking to you guys because the fear of public opinion and what people think about you is a prison. It's a prison. It's a spiritual and mental prison. And they just like prison guards. Their whole job is to keep you in that space. The only way you can break out and be free is to not let public opinion and what other people think about you control you. Because you can suffer in silence or you could take matters into your own hands and you can do something about it. So I intend to blog and show you every step of this journey, even if it ends up in a shelter. And of course, man, shelters in Detroit and around this city, they dirty. They got bed bugs, all kind of stuff. Drug addicts, cutthroats, all of that. But other people have had to sacrifice and go through that. And it's just like when you say about the little kid that loses his life. Who am I that I shouldn't suffer? You know what I mean? Maybe I deserve it. Maybe it's karma. Maybe it's whatever. Whatever you call it, you have to bear it, or I have to bear it. I just choose not to suffer in silence and to cower down to public opinion or to be scared to speak my truth. So tomorrow is Monday morning, and I'll be back at Joe Biden, back on politics, and anybody else who I feel makes good content. You know what I mean? And to be real and be true to this profession, I'm gonna talk about everything else and had my life for my subscribers. That wouldn't be genuine. It wouldn't be authentic. So that means it wouldn't have any power. It'd be a fake show. And that ain't no legacy to leave behind. So y'all enjoy y'all Sunday. The weather is nice. It's beautiful. Keep y'all spirits up. Stay safe. Peace, and out Detroit. Salute to all patriots as always. Keep y'all head on the swivel.